This is a double intro because we spoke at length about an interview with an alien.
Yes, we did.
And it was really, really interesting. So the first 30 minutes we catch up and then get stuck into it. So you guys are going to enjoy. Well, we'll talk about Blaze. We'll talk about a little bit of the footy.
Cool.
We'll talk about the anxiety that you're feeling.
Yep.
My TEDx talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then really cool subjects. Like this is one of the best apps you should listen to.
Yes, it will.
Everyone.
It is.
This is
the
intro now.
Yeah, okay.
Are we recording?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the intro, guys. But we're brought to you by our sponsors.
Yeah, so this episode is brought to you by alltradescover.com.au and they're awesome.
Yep. They can cover you for...
Go to them.
They can cover you for stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing specific. John will be listening.
Yes.
So nothing outlined. But one thing I know that they do cover because I inquired is if you run events, they can cover you for insurance if you can't make it due to no fault of your own.
Exactly.
So I was going to get it for my Sydney tour, but because I was driving myself around, it wasn't as big of a risk as New Zealand when I was flying different cities, different days, different islands.
Yeah.
So... alltradescover.com.au, tell them Hard Yarn sent you.
Yes. Also, this episode is brought to you by Crafted Finance. If you do need a loan, business loan, mortgage, anything, they're going to be able to help you.
Yep.
They're going to lay it out for you in easy to understand format, videos, break it down, tell you how much interest you're going to pay over the term of the loan and what ways you can save money.
Even if you think you're nowhere near it, they'll just give them a call because Teddy's awesome.
Yeah.
And it might just help clear things up. I was very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Apprehensive?
Not even apprehensive, just it felt like too much. Like talking about it, felt overwhelmed, anxiety. Yeah. The whole reason I never ever looked into buying a house, I just thought it was so far away from what I had.
Yeah.
It just really overwhelmed me. So I just kept saving and saving. And eventually when I, stopped fucking being, what's the word? Procrastinating.
Yes. So, paralysis by analysis.
Yeah, hectic. But also shout out to All Trades Cover as well. Like they helped me with just a normal insurance claim that I was trying to make.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because they're good people.
They're good people.
Yeah. So I think that was Tim.
And finally, this episode is brought to you by the Smart Business Lounge. And they are really, actually, probably trying to look more at the medium-sized to large businesses.
Oh, well, too bad. Small to extra small.
Yeah.
In my business area.
So basically, if you are in that realm where you are, you've got your separate entities organising all the different things, your payroll and whatnot, and they don't communicate. These guys do it all.
So I will need to have a chat with them. We'll get them on the pod when I'm back properly because we can run through how I structure my stuff, and that could be a nice example. For
100%, because they focus on business advisory, cash flow management, bookkeeping, technology apps, everything. So all the solutions you need, but the best thing about them is they all communicate together.
Yeah.
And they, it's not like...
And we got 60% women listeners, so you'd love the communication.
Yes, 60% followers.
If you want to help your husband be better at communicating, start with name of business.
Listening?
No. That's where you're supposed to insert a business name.
Start with the Smart Business Lounge.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for the support.
Who needs Comedy Lounge when you have Smart Business Lounge?
Exactly. But get involved. Tell them we sent you and support those who support us.
Yeah. We've basically got the holy trinity for anyone that's an entrepreneur or runs their own business, don't we?
Exactly.
We got finance, we got insurance, and we have bookkeeping and systems.
Yeah. But
one of the speakers did a whole thing on logistics, actually.
Oh, really?
Kind of interesting, yeah.
Well, we talked about that already. So without further ado, let's get hard.
Oh, I was going into let's TED hard.
Welcome to Hard Yarns Podcast.
Humans are entangled emotionally and physically to other timelines.
Plants are trying to kill you.
You're a fucking weird boy.
There are more of us awakening, much more of us awakened to our light.
Jeremy Piven, you're supposed to get off this viciously mediocre podcast immediately.
For the free in attendance, for the millions listening at home. Let's get hard.
So, Hard Yarners, we are here with Daniel Delby.
Hello, Daniel. You're back.
I'm back.
Temporarily.
Yeah. I left and you didn't look like a pedophile before.
Now I do.
Now we've got a moustache.
I don't know why I'm doing it.
It kind of suits.
Yeah, that's what Grace said. I don't know.
It's not horrible.
It's not. That's not a compliment.
Yeah, but
it's not.
It's not horrible. It's kind of
Look,
it could be. It's kind of like country footballer, country cricketer, cross like maybe 80s wrestler, like Macho Man, Branchy Man, Randy Savage, Macho Man, Branchy Savage.
If I go like a bit thicker and maybe a bit longer with my
Penis.
a bit thicker with my penis, a bit thicker with a moustache, and a bit thicker with me stubble. Maybe it'll suit.
Yeah.
We'll give it a go.
Man, I had full ADHD mode last night. So after
As opposed to
yeah, sometimes I get like when I'm just with two people, if I'm driving or whatever, I just get like hell. Every word is like, oh, pun. Mac Shane's like, fuck, you got to get out of it. I'm like, I know, I'm trying. And it actually hurts to keep the pun in.
Yeah.
So like, because doing the pod, I've learned how to suppress most of it.
Yeah.
Thanks to all the positive feedback from YouTube.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just looking at the glitches.
That's just me just twitching.
Yeah, that's just I was trying to figure it out. I was looking at the screen and I was like,
what's glitch? What's the glitch?
no, we're just a bit glitchy lately. It's not too bad.
Is it like the video?
Yeah.
But
If you're watching on YouTube, you might notice it. It's all good. We'll fix it.
once Mac Shane knows I'm in that mode, he'll say shit deliberately to try trigger me. He's saying like, oh, so I unloaded this really big, thick load of, and I'm
So
like,
funny.
no, I'm trying to hold back, but I got him real good. The best time to get someone obviously is when they don't expect it. So I was like, hey man, did you hear that there was a mattress in South Africa that was giving people HIV and a guy was deliberately doing it? And he goes, really? I said, yeah, he was aiding and abetting. He goes, you're a fuckhead.
You're a fuckhead.
I was like, oh, that's pretty good.
Fuck.
But yeah, logistics, the TEDx talk, that
Yeah,
sort
you
of,
did
I
a
was like,
TEDx
how's that
talk.
going to be interesting? You know, it was a Chinese lady, and it was actually quite interesting because logistics make everything work, right, in the world. So for us to get a mic, you need to have a manufacturer in South Korea, maybe produced in China, assembled somewhere else.
Yep.
Then you got your networks of your flights, all that. So like people have to come together.
Yeah.
And she tied it in with COVID, how through logistics she actually found that how important a network was for people and connection.
Okay.
So she was, I won't do her speech, but like that was just a really cool thing that I would never have linked. Logistics are super important for relationships as well. So
what did you talk about?
I talk about
I asked pretending I didn't know.
debilitating illness of having pun syndrome. I had to come out because there is an illness in German. There's a word for it.
For what?
For when you can't help making puns.
Yeah.
German word for pun disease.
What is it?
I'll tell you. For pun disease, it's Witzelsucht. Witzelsucht is a rare neurological condition characterized by a compulsive need to make puns, tell inappropriate jokes, or share pointless stories in socially inappropriate situations.
So you're what? You are Witzelsucht.
I have Witzelsucht.
Witzelsucht.
Yeah.
You are Witzelsucht.
Because Witz is joke or wit, and Sucht is addiction / mania.
Witzelsucht.
So
Witzelsucht.
I just Witzelsucht everyone off.
Fuck. I just snorted.
How can you do it? You're using the pun disease as a pun.
Yeah.
Fuck. Cured. No, so I did my talk.
That's funny. Yeah, carry on.
I did the talk on, because obviously, like, I got asked, and I was like, fuck, I thought it was a scam email, so I just ignored it.
Yep.
I got asked again, and I was like, are you a person? Sort of thing. Is this real?
Because Mac Shane did the same thing, eh?
He did one here. This one was in Southern, and I'm not sure if she'd see me on Teacher Comedy Night or Sunday Singles or my comedy show. I can't remember. I have to actually ask her.
Yeah.
And obviously I was like, nah, I've got nothing to say. And listeners of the pod will know because of Thelma, psychic. And she was like, do it.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Where she was like, there's some sort of speech engagement.
Yeah.
So with that in my head, it almost created that inception where I was going to bail, man. I really wanted to bail it.
Really?
Yeah. Like big time. Because I'm like,
Imposter.
massive. Imposter syndrome. I'm like, I've got the podcast to say stuff I want to say. I don't like sticking to a script. I don't like the way TEDx talks are very, word by word, has to be word perfect.
Yeah.
So I've relayed all those concerns to Katrina, and she was awesome, bro. She helped me so much, like so thankful. Because after the phone call, she was like, "No, well, I've picked you for a reason. Mm-hmm. You know, you do it your way.
Okay.
Because it's, you know, TEDx, you can't talk about like alcohol, all that sort of stuff. But she's like, you do the talk your way that you want to.
You can't talk about alcohol.
No.
What if the talk's on alcohol?
Don't know. Yeah, couldn't reference it because I was trying to show my Game of Thrones how bad some comedy ideas are.
Yeah.
And I had my video of Game of Thrones where I'm sitting on a flagon. I'm like, mother of flagons, bend the knee.
Okay.
Like,
and they couldn't
show it.
Fucking hell. Sort your shit out, TEDx.
So just getting started on this speech, I'm like, fuck, what do I want to talk about? Like, is it going to be about being single? Is it going to be about trying to figure out how to do what you love? Is it like being in alignment? I'm like, it's all fucking woo-woo. Like, even though I believe in it, I'm like,
yeah,
there's nothing new there to say. And it wasn't exciting.
Yeah.
And then like, because of the way things are at the moment with the economy, the event itself, she'd spent 2 years planning, was at risk of not going ahead because everything's just so expensive. She did so great, man. Like the set was unreal. Everything was just so killer. And when I was in Bali, I'm like, nah, fuck, like I can't, like I'm going to bail. Like I feel like it doesn't feel right for me to do because I don't have anything to say. So I had another phone call. And as we were discussing the phone call, we kind of like nutted out what I'd done and a few things I said. And Dean Brown helped me as well, Brownie.
Yeah, cool.
He goes, you're the only bloke I know has figured out how to like, he used the words like gamify your life. Like your life is, you've structured your social scenario to fit with your work. So your work is your social life as well.
Yeah.
And that was kind of interesting because I respect what Brownie thinks because he's super switched on bloke. And if he found that interesting, I was like, all right, well, we'll go with that angle. And then, so she started saying, well, you know, you've done all these side quests. I was like, I've done all these side quests and I've turned it into a full-time thing. And she goes, well, there's the speech. It's like side quests, games. And it ended up being way better than what I sent you in that voice note. And you helped as well with actually 2 or 3 of the good summary points. Gaining a weapon and tool. I was looking for that vocab, even though, you know, it seems simple to level up and go to the next stage.
Yeah.
So when I found that topic, it was so much easier to write because it all it was reflecting on how I've got to where I am. And it's by saying yes and accepting side quests and challenges without a fear of failure. Because if I treat, essentially I've treated my life like a game because like I've always thought I can always restart. I can do a side quest, it doesn't have to go anywhere. You know, it's just fun doing it.
Yep.
So I've put that all together with the pivotal parts of my life. So the first pivotal part was getting challenged to a freestyle rap battle. And I wasn't ready, but I was like, yeah, well, let's do it.
Yep.
You know? And that started building this skill that 20 years later, or 10, 15 years later, has turned into the thing that's changed my life, basically. And if I had shied away from that challenge and just gone, no, I'm too scared.
Yeah.
So the lesson from that was like trying something new unlocks a skill set. Trying something before you're ready unlocks a skill set.
Yeah.
So always give stuff a go before you're ready. And then the way I framed it was like when you play a video game, the first time you verse Bowser or the first time you're on Donkey Kong, you don't stay at the bottom of the ladder of Donkey Kong. You know, you're never ready. You just play the game and then you're excited to get to the boss because you're going to learn the chinks in his armor, the flaws in the game, or where you need to level up.
Yeah, if you beat the boss the first time, it's a boring game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So use those. So the first bit, and I won't do my whole speech here, but like it was exciting because I found something that actually felt good. And the real big thing I found that I'm glad that I tailored it towards, it was gamify your life, but it was more, I always remember the pressure I felt at 15 to choose my subjects, ATAR subjects, that were going to shape the rest of my life.
Yeah, which is an unrealistic expectation of kids in that situation.
Because I had good grades, and then the whole thing I went through with Miss Brown, like not wanting to put me in ATAR English, and then me going, well, fuck you. And I topped English. It was Wanneroo, but it still was like 90, which was hard. Like,
Yeah.
but that pressure I felt, I'm like, fuck, I need to pick subjects in year 10 at 15.
You don't know
That are
what
gonna
you're
be-
doing in that
And
time
what
of
you
your
pick
life.
in year 11, it follows to year 12. So if
Yeah.
you fuck your choices, you're stuck with it for 2 years.
Yeah.
So that was like this pressure. So the opening, I was trying to how do I word that? And I just ended up wording it like, as a teenager and young adult, I felt like society had an expectation of us to live our life in a linear timeline and hit social KPIs to some predetermined timeline where I didn't agree to. So there's all these things were expected. And if I don't hit those points, then I'm a failure. Because that was that overwhelming thing. I need to be here. Everyone else is going to be here. I need to do this next because that's what everyone does. And if I don't do it, I'm not part of this like society, and I'm failing at where I'm supposed to be at. That wasn't from any of my parents or anything. It was just sort of that what you see.
Yeah.
So yeah, shaped it around the freestyle battle, shaped it around my first comedy set. Being the reason I did my first comedy set was because I fucked my back and I thought I'd ruin my life and my whole identity, and that meant that I couldn't teach phys ed. So I did relief, and doing relief meant I got to be in heaps of different classrooms, get heaps of funny stories, start telling jokes. And that's what my mates signed me up to an open mic comedy night for. So that lesson was, sometimes the worst thing that happens to you is the key to a hidden level that you didn't know was even there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really cool. But the actual experience itself was really good. Forcing myself, like the irony of it was, my whole thing was say yes to a challenge, and if you fail, it doesn't matter. So I'm like, well, TEDx, this is the challenge for me. So if I don't do this, then I'm fucking not even living up to what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So it was a nice personal challenge.
Well, sometimes you need those side quests to get the weapon you get gifted at the end of it, so you can take on the next boss. And you didn't realize that you went and took on that final boss without this weapon. If you had actually gone on the side quest, gain that weapon, come back.
Yeah.
And if you turn that into a parallel for life, it's just lessons.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was great. Really happy I did it. Fully out of my comfort zone because I had to stick to a script. I couldn't riff. I couldn't improv. I couldn't talk to the audience like properly because it all needs to be.
They're very outside your normal. How did you like that?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't like it because I don't know. I just I like a bit more freedom, but I liked that I was able to concentrate long enough to remember a 20-minute speech, get the wording along with the slides, and also make people laugh while having some kind of message. And I actually got a few DMs saying that they
really appreciated it.
Yeah, I had a lady just literally quote me straight away, saying, I've already told my two boys that it's not about winning, it's about pressing play and just giving it a go.
Sick.
Just pressing start. Yeah, it's not about being the best, it's about pressing start. And I was like, oh, cool. So to hear that it's resonated was really cool. But the actual experience itself was cool because I got to work with a lot of people I never would normally work with.
Yeah.
All the hosts were people with autism that do journalism.
Yeah, right.
So the host I had, Sophie, she's in a wheelchair. She's a non-verbal, but she has a little speech pad and she can make sounds that you can understand. But she wrote hell funny intro for me.
Yeah, sick.
And basically just roasted me in the intro.
Sick.
So
that's
that
awesome.
was good. Yeah, it was really good. And then met.
Did she read your mind?
No, I wanted to ask her about that, but
Could you imagine?
she heard me asking it in my mind.
Yeah,
anyway,
and she went, no.
But I met Cam McInnes he's the captain of the Cronulla Sharks. His speech was great, man.
What was his
actually, it would help you as well. So it started off being about, and it was good because we don't really follow NRL here. I just saw it as a speaker, but he was playing for either South Sydney or I can't make Manly, one of these other teams. And he was a really good player, but they brought in another guy in his position to challenge him. But instead of challenging himself, he started comparing himself to the other bloke and started really worrying about the other bloke. And he even chucked on Instagram who's a better player, did a poll on him and the other guy.
Oh, no.
And he goes, the results didn't help me.
Yeah.
So he went into this downward spiral.
Yeah.
he ended up getting traded out, and the other guy got the games.
Yeah.
And at his new club, he realised that he just needed to focus on himself.
Yes.
Work against himself, improve, and then and the team as a general rather than being against. But then when he had his kids, one of his kids has got real severe autism, and he said if that hadn't happened in his professional career, he now was able to view his kids' achievements against his own capabilities instead of going, oh, all the other 2-year-olds are doing this.
Yes.
All the other 3-year-olds. And he's like, I didn't care what they were doing because of what he went through. It was like, we're just going to focus on what he can do and compare him to himself. So it was a really cool mentality switch.
It is a difficult thing to grasp when you're in that situation.
Yeah.
Watching your kids and you want them to be hitting social KPIs.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah.
You want them to be hitting them there, and then you realise, maybe it's not for them. But then also, when you do start to see small improvements, fuck, the joy that brings. So, yeah, there is.
Yeah. So I found that was a really...
It's really the comparison is the thief of joy concept, isn't it?
Yeah. And there was a lady at the end who's just fucking been through hell, and it's always like it helped. It was helped me look at my belief from a different angle. You know how I always say, no matter how shit something is at the time, something good's going to come from it.
Yeah.
So she doesn't like that saying because she's like, that makes you a passive observer. So if something bad happens to you, you're just going to wait till the good thing happens. So her thing was like, no, don't wait. You create something good from it. So her sister got hit by a drunk driver in Thailand, scooter.
Yeah.
They've got it on video. So that she's on the back of the scooter. As they turn, the fucking scooter comes the other way. She took the full impact. And the video cuts off just before you see the impact. And then she's ended up creating like a fund for her sister to stop road trauma in Thailand, raised all this money. So instead of like just going, I'll wait for the good thing, she's created good. And then like 6 months ago or something, fucking she's in America, her mum's visiting. She goes, I'll meet you back at the car at 1 o'clock at like 12:45. All these ambulances and sirens go screaming past. She's like, no, not again. And mum got hit by a car as she's crossing the road from a repeat offender, dead. He just had a misdemeanor and a fine. So she's gone and actioned it to change repeat offenders. To actually be punished for.
When that's happening, like, that's not a coincidence in my mind. That's like, what's she there for?
Yeah, that's what she hates. She's like, people are like, oh, there's a reason. She's like, at that time, you're like, I'm not going to wait. I don't care. But like, the flip side is she's created good.
That's what I mean.
So
yeah,
maybe that is the
reason.
reason.
Is that the reason? Like, that's her role.
Yeah. Well, if you believe like what we believe, you have a predetermined timeline, but from a soul contract.
Yeah.
To live this life.
Mate, you're going to love it. I don't know whether we do it today or not. You're going to love Interview with an Alien.
Yeah.
I finished all the research. We can do it today if you want. Probably about 45 minutes worth of reading. I thought it was going to be 2 episodes, so we can do it today if you want.
Yeah, well.
It goes on that stuff. But anyway, carry on. We'll see how we're feeling in 10, 15. So yeah, that
was quite like heart-wrenching, but also like it's I think a really good message as well. So for anyone listening, if something terrible's happened, instead of just waiting for the good thing to come from it, maybe have a look at what you can take action to help create good, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And then the last one I became, the bloke I hung out with the most was Matthew Elliott, not the cricketer. He was an NRL rugby coach.
Yep.
So like, I think he'd be sort of similar to maybe like Ross Lyon, who's been like around success but hasn't won. I don't think he's won any flags. Don't quote me on that, NRL fans. But he was a ledge, man. He was real good. We're like having good laughs and good banter. And
cool.
His whole thing was after coaching, he had an autoimmune disease. He got divorced. His whole thing, he's blown up, which is what we were talking about before. I was just going to share this with you.
Yeah.
The whole like old adage of your body keeps the score.
Yeah.
So he thought he was doing all right, but his body was keeping the score of the stress. So whatever's happening with you, mentally, you might feel good, but there's probably something that you're not addressing.
Yeah, there's got to be something.
But you're pretty healthy.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, mine's not like physical gut problems. Like it's anxiety.
Yeah.
I can feel it, but without them, I'm not.
The-
Do you know when you're actual anxious and you're like, oh no, this is actually stressing me, and there's nothing. I feel so good at the moment.
Yeah.
But my body is not feeling like that. But what was he going before we talk about mine?
Well, his was like he had an autoimmune disease and he bumped into, I can't remember the bloke's name, but the Anthony Minicello actually.
Okay.
Anthony Minicello, that NRL player.
Yes.
Helped him. He just fixed his diet up, and there's like some protocols. Fixed his diet and done some of the, you know how you get the blood tests and all that sort of stuff. There's this like protocol, and just found that his body and his was intolerant to wheat, some other shit. Solved his autoimmune disease just with diet.
Yeah.
But also that helped clear the mind. So using diet, nutrition, and getting your body right to help get your mind right. Whenever any of the players were down, they'd ask about the mental state, but they weren't looking at the rest of it.
Yeah.
So he works now with people, all the people from the police force with PTSD.
Yeah.
And is literally like fixing PTSD by getting the body right.
Gut health.
Yeah.
Mind-body connection.
Nothing new, but really interesting.
Yeah. The mind-body connection is huge. Yeah, I think it's. I don't know. And so, yeah, I was just saying to you outside, like, and I only told Grace this morning, like, I'd really been
out of nowhere.
Just for, like, our best way I can describe it is anxiety, but it's not. I don't feel stressed and worried or about it. I've even got it now. It's this tension. I feel like I'm
down in your plums.
Down my plums. But I feel like my body's being pulled apart from the inside. And then after a while, I just go,
yeah, right.
And I'm all good. And then I can breathe. I feel like I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what is this? And my logic brain. I go, okay, I've got rid of some parachutes and, baby coming up. There's financial stress that could potentially subconsciously be there. The fact that you got a baby coming up as well, trying to do.
State of the world the way it is.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, maybe subconsciously that's just all too much. Maybe. And the body is just, your head's sort of like fine. It's not even, and then the body, like with you, with your ADHD score, like, and your body manifests it with you moving.
Yeah.
So maybe that's my logic brain says that. There's another thing I thought was the parasite cleanse. I've started this parasite, and it's since then.
Well, maybe because if they're being disrupted, your body's changing from its norm, and they're making you feel uneasy,
uncomfortable. Like, it's bad, man. I can't explain how I feel. It's horrible.
When did it start?
I can't 100% remember, but I do feel like it's just
around the same time.
So potentially. And maybe it's just literally I'm killing these parasites inside.
Maybe you're allergic or you're reacting to something that you're using for the cleanse.
The herbs. Yeah, it's just herbs.
If it's something new and different that you haven't had before,
maybe you never know. You never know. Could be.
Could be creating that fight or flight.
Oh mate, it's so bad. It's so fucking bad.
So even if it's increasing your blood pressure,
that's
going to show as anxiety, and your body's going to tense up because it's going to. When you get blood pressure, it's because you're ready to run or fight.
Yes.
So if your body is producing that,
that's
then
how
you're
it
getting
feels.
in that fight or
I
flight.
feel like I'm tense the whole time. There's that.
Wait,
and
what's in it? Like, is there any like ashwagandha or like guarana or?
No. It's I read them out the other day.
Maybe have a look at the side effects of it and just see if anyone has something similar.
Potentially, but there is, and I'll get to that in a second actually, because the other thing is social media. Like being online and stuff. Like you're restricted to this. There's so much noise. Like it's just a lot. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe all of the above.
Are you injured? Have you been running?
No, I feel fucking great. I'm in the best fucking nick I've been in for a long time. Healthiest I've been. I don't know. Anyway, the body doesn't feel bad at all. Like the body feels fine. I feel like I can't breathe. That's how it feels. And then there's a lot of people have been saying the same thing, and I'm like, are you just manifesting because you're hearing people talking about that?
Yeah.
So taking on those symptoms.
Like a mass psychosis.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly, because there's so many people saying they're feeling the same. They're feeling this anxiety. Again, probably like what's going on in the world. Could be fucking...
I felt good, man.
This is the thing. Mentally, I feel so good and feel so at ease. I'm like, cool, this is great.
It is. There is an unnerving, like an uneasiness about, are we on the precipice of an economic collapse? Is it all noise? Is it bullshit?
Yeah.
Is the war going to change how we think? You know, so.
And there's my sleep score. People, 33%, man. Like 33%. And this is fucked. If I go back and have a look, I can go back to a week ago and I got a 93%, which is fucking absurd, man. So a 93%, 41 heart rate. I think the day after that was like 40 heart rate. So I'm in at 100 heart rate variability. So my score's fucking good.
Yeah.
And then just out of this last week, for no reason.
Yeah.
And it's killing me. My sleep is terrible and I'm not stressing.
Yeah, right.
So if I have stress in my life.
Maybe have some mushrooms.
Yeah,
see what happens.
Potentially.
Figure it out.
But if I have real stress, like I can't get back to sleep when I wake up. I'm just falling back to sleep. There's no like mental clutter. There's nothing. I feel so good. And I can't explain it. The people who are saying it online, they're like, no, this is something that everyone's going through. It's the light codes. It's all of that. And everyone's body's changing and
second puberty.
But there's a part of me that always believes that stuff as well and believes in the woo-woo as well. So I fucking don't know, but I don't like it, man.
Yeah, we'll see how long it lasts. If it coincides with the end of your parasite cleanse, I reckon that's probably what it is, to be honest.
That sounds right. Like maybe the parasites are like, we've been here for so long.
Yeah.
We like it here. It's definitely working because I had sugar last night and I've been avoiding sugar during the cleanse. I had sugar last night and I didn't break out in a rash the next day.
Oh, sweet.
So it's certainly
wow. That's
helping.
pretty cool.
Yeah. So
is this a brand or a company that like?
No.
Because that'd be a good sponsor.
I went to the health food shop and I said, like, these are the ones I want. And they said, yeah, cool. This is in all of what you want is in this, plus a few others.
Expensive?
It was $63 or something like that. You can get a cheaper one for like $49, 30 days worth.
Yep.
And,
how long is it supposed to last, this cleanse?
Well, I've been looking at like the Detox Darling and a few people, and they think that you should be doing one a year.
Yeah, it's so hard, man. I mean,
because we take on so many
cop out, but it's like to find the time.
Well, you don't have to do anything with this cleanse. My one just is I take my pill, which is just a capsule full of all these herbs, and I have that 3 times a day with meals, and then once a day I have the binder at the end. Yeah. It's a sweep through and it clears out the eggs and stuff.
I've got the this pill with all of the vitamins in of aspendexamphetamine.
But I'll report back at the end of the 30 days because maybe it's just like, your body is just uncomfortable because this shit is dying inside you and it doesn't like it. Maybe. I don't know. I don't like it at the moment. I don't feel good.
Yeah, right.
But mentally and physically, best I've ever felt. Even prepped wise, house is all ready for baby. There's excitement, but it could just be genuinely I'm anxious and nervous financially and like with the baby coming up.
When are you June?
June 4th.
Jewish.
Still
ages away, man. Oh fuck! Actually, that's like 5 weeks.
5 weeks, yeah. And then that 5 weeks is also like anytime within 4, they're like, be ready.
Yeah, right.
So it could be happening in the next couple of weeks, bro.
Okay.
I could be sending you a message.
Get on the shrooms while you can.
I'm going to. I haven't drank for
the ones I got
a while, but I was going to have a sip that day.
Shrooms?
No. I was going to have a sip of whiskey that night.
Yeah.
I'll send a hit out to a few people, and we'll have a celebration.
Yeah, beauty.
What were we saying about mushrooms?
They didn't hit the ones that
They didn't work.
Nah, but
at all. A whole lot.
They were like teetering.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The whole lot.
I went half with Cam.
Okay. Interesting.
Interesting.
I'll have to have it.
Have you been watching Love on the Spectrum?
No, I don't watch it.
It's so fun, bro.
Yeah?
It's so heartwarming, man. There's a new Mexican guy and he goes, interesting. Yes, per se.
Speaking of the spectrum, I did the 24-hour challenge, 24-hour swim.
Oh, yeah?
Ocean Heroes.
Yeah, fuck. Who was with you?
Just me, but I didn't do the 24 hours myself. I was in the Friends of Ocean Heroes team, which I said this last year. I want to do a hard yarns team next year, and I do want to do one. But
we'll just get our world record holder to swim most of it.
Yes, yeah. And you raise money for all the kids learning how to surf, and it's kids across the spectrum, but generally speaking, it's for kids with autism learning how to surf, and it builds resilience and it builds community and. Confidence, it's fucking incredible. You know what the worst thing is with regards to NDIS and the funding? We had all these markers saying how much Scotty's improved and whatnot. And they're like, we can see this surfing's had an impact, so we're going to remove that from your funding. So it's working, so
that's weird.
Take it away.
That's weird.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
That doesn't make sense. Yeah, I know. We can see it's made a massive improvement and she's doing really well, so we're going to remove that so you don't need it anymore.
That makes no sense at all.
Exactly. Instead of going, we can see it's working.
Yeah, let's stop funding the stuff that's not working.
Yeah.
The NDIS is the biggest blight on our economy, though. It's draining us fucking – it's such a waste of money.
Yeah.
That's the way it's set up. Sorry, I'll reframe that. It's not a waste of money.
No.
It's being exploited.
Exploited, yes.
By people that don't need it and people that are trying to get money from the government.
Yeah. People have been exposing that. That's fucking crazy. And,
as well as the speed cameras, which is finally front page news today. Did you see?
Is it?
Bro.
What did they say?
I've only just seen it in the coffee shop. Fine old mess. Thousands of drivers wrongfully pinged by AO cameras. Front page of the West Australian. So finally, all the shit that's been getting sent around.
Because of...
More than $1 million worth of fines have been cancelled after thousands of motorists successfully contested controversial AI camera seatbelt infringements.
Mate, but the burden of proving your innocence is now on the victim, and that is a fucking issue.
Yeah, $29 million in fine revenue in a month. Like, fuck off. That gives me the fucking anxiety.
I was driving down the freeway the other day, and I was talking to Scotty, and I said, make sure your seatbelt's on because there's the cameras. And she said, why are there cameras everywhere? And I was like, no, she said, where are the cameras? And I was like, well, everywhere. And she said, why are there cameras? And I was like...
Because we live in a fucking nanny state, mate.
We live in a police state, bro. Yeah, but...
Cooked.
Do you want to do this? I think this is fun. This is actually a fun, cool conspiracy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the book.
Do we need 2 parts or is this going to be a 1-parter?
No, we can do it in 1 part. Look, if you really want to read the whole lot, I've skimmed through the core bits instead. Because I was going to go really in depth into this book, but I thought, fuck it, I'll just skim it a bit and make it a bit more palatable for listeners. And for Delby.
Yep.
That'll
be good because then that'll bring it to an hour and a half.
Yeah. Cool. Perfect. So, so interrupt at any point and just challenge and whatnot. So, there's a book.
Interesting.
There's a book called The Alien Interview. So this is an interview with an alien. So quick context before we dive in. Alien Interview is a book that claims to be real transcripts from the Roswell crash incident. Lawrence R. Spencer claims that he didn't write the transcripts himself, and the story was mailed to him. Was a mailed package of documents anonymously in the 1990s.
Is it really?
Yeah, it was.
Fuck. Straight away.
Yeah.
You're like, mate, this is just fucking George R. Martin just testing his
potential,
Game of Thrones script before it is.
Yes, but there's things that line up with the people that are mentioned.
Right.
That validate the people.
Is this pre-internet?
Yeah, it's 90s. So this is...
Internet was invented in late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, I guess so. Public, yeah.
Yeah, so... but it's based off the story. So an army nurse, Matilda O'Donnell McElroy, who says she communicated telepathically with the surviving alien from the crash. The book is written as a series of those conversations covering... everything from consciousness and the soul to the idea that Earth might not be what we think it is, a prison planet. Whether it's real or not, that's up to you, but the concepts in it are wild. So quickly, who Matilda was, just to validate who she was. According to the interview, Matilda O'Donnell McElroy was a US Army nurse stationed at a base after the Roswell incident. Her role wasn't scientific. She was there to assist with bodies recovered from the crash, basically providing medical support and observation. When they realized one of the beings was still alive, they brought in scientists and military personnel to try and communicate with it, but nothing worked. Matilda was brought in the room.
Why did they choose her?
Why did the alien choose her?
No, why was she brought into the room?
Matilda was brought into the room more out of routine than anything to monitor the situation, to check on the alien. But when she got close to the being, something happened. She claimed she could suddenly understand it, not through language, but through direct thought. And because of that, she was then reassigned immediately, becoming the sole point of contact between the military and the alien, which called itself Airl.
Errol?
Airl.
How do you spell that?
AIRL.
AI?
Yeah, AI. Yeah.
Errol. My name is Errol. That's a whole different TV series.
Yes.
Errol. AIRL. Errol.
So
Errol.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a lot of the transcripts now.
Yeah.
So these are direct transcripts. I'm going to try not to read the book.
Straight away, my fucking brain's going.
Go.
She's making up because it's aliens.
So, all right, where are we? What would you like to know? What would you like to say, Errol? I asked. I've been part of the Domain Expeditionary Force in the sector of space for several thousand years. However, I have not personally had intimate contact with beings on Earth since 5,965 BCE. It is not my primary function to interact with inhabitants of planets within the domain. I am an officer, pilot, engineer with many duties to perform. Nonetheless, although I am fluent in 347 other languages within the domain, I have not been exposed to your English language.
So he's saying this telepathically.
Yes.
Isn't that weird?
No, so this is her saying it to the what do they call them? Stenographer.
But she's saying he is fluent in 300.
She's
fluent. Oh, she the alien.
She the alien
is fluent in 347 languages
within the domain
of.
The domain, which, look, I've skimmed over a fair bit, but the domain is a large sector of the galaxy, yes.
Now
they go in...
Now, but my question is, if she's fluent in 347 but not in English...
Okay, wait for a second.
Okay.
So the last Earth language, because she hasn't been there since 5,965.
How's she saying this, though? Because it's telepathic.
Telepathic. So this is... What she does is she puts pictures in it and she talks about this. So,
okay, cool.
And I read this, and I can't remember if I screenshotted this part of it, and maybe I'm about to double go over it. But basically, she didn't have an understanding of English. She read books,
right,
and then she was able to communicate.
Read books.
Read the languages.
She taught herself how to speak English by reading it,
by scanning it, and then because she's not an alien either, so you'll find out soon. It's a
okay. Continue.
Yes, the last Earth language in which where am I? The last Earth language in which I was conversant was the Sanskrit language of the Vedic hymns.
Wow.
At that time, I was a member of a mission sent to investigate the loss of a domain base located in the Himalaya Mountains. An entire battalion of officers, pilots, communications, and administrative personnel disappeared, and the base was destroyed. You and I were unable to communicate, so I've skipped out the part where they're struggling to communicate and she's seeing pictures in her head, but there was that moment at the start, so forgive me if there's bits missing. But if you do want to go listen, read the whole book.
Is it an audio book as well, or is it just a...
I'm not sure, but it could be.
It's just get read to you telepathically?
Yeah. Imagine
that'd be so sick.
You and I were unable to communicate in your language because I personally have not been exposed to your language. However, now that I have scanned the books and the material you provided me, this data has been relayed. Our space station is a space station in region and processed by a communications officer through our computers. And it's been translated into my own language and relayed back to you in context that I can think with.
Okay.
I have also received additional information from the files stored in our computers about the English language from the domain records concerning Earth civilization.
Well, so straight away the questions there are, if she's communicating with an external base, why are they not coming to get her and save her?
Okay. This is a good old story. But also there's a reason that these guys don't want to come to Earth.
Because we shoot the fuck out of them.
No.
Or they would get their soul trapped here.
Yeah. Well, fuck, you're onto it. But yes, to a point, yes. And also the free will stuff and whatnot. But records concerning and I don't know if this, I can't remember what I screenshotted, but I don't know if this is covered in what I'm about to read. But they're kind of just meat vehicles. The body, it's not an actual alien. Now I'm prepared to give you certain information that I feel would be great value to you. I will tell you the truth, although truth is relative to other truth. I wish to share with you honestly and accurately as possible truth as I see it within the boundaries of my integrity to myself and my race without violating obligations, blah, blah, blah. I've been sworn to protect. Let me just double check. I'm not going to answer your questions. I will give you the information provided. That's all I want to read on that page. Some of that's just...
So it's always interesting, isn't it?
Oh, sorry. Okay, here we go. Personally, it is my conviction that all sentient beings are immortal spiritual beings. This includes human beings. For the sake of accuracy and simplicity, I will use the made-up word is be, because the primary nature of immortal being is that they live in the timeless state of is, and only reason for their existence is to be. So she now refers to all immortal beings as is be.
That's terrifying. Immortality is the most terrifying thought.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Unless we have, obviously, maybe as a human, it's terrifying. Maybe if you are that immortal being outside of our human body, it's less scary because maybe you're more enlightened. But just for me, the thought of never being able to just switch off is just fucked.
But that's all because we live in a world where the time is linear, so we perceive immortal or mortality or infinite as forever. But there is no forever. It's just is. It's just
which
now.
Goes back to that K-hole thing. It's it's so scary.
So it would be uncomfortable to we see it as a linear path. We turn 80 years.
But even that, even realizing it's not, if you're just there and it's forever that moment.
Yes.
That's
but there is no
terrifying.
forever. It's just is.
Yeah.
And
but as long as you don't have the concept of that,
Yeah.
if you forget the concept of that and you're always is, then it's not scary.
Correct.
But if you know of concept of forever,
Yes.
that's the most terrifying shit ever.
That's a very good way of putting it.
Man,
yeah, it's terrifying.
It'd be nice to not have
forever
the concepts of immortality. If it's always consistently here now, almost a complete and utter non-stop loop of amnesia. That's what you want, because then you're completely present and you're not worrying about past or future.
Okay.
You always want amnesia of forgetting that's even a thing.
Oh, you're going to love this story, bro.
But the other thing is it's always interesting. Interesting. I got a tick now from the Mexican guy, but tell me more.
Yeah.
It's always interesting that when we're trying to learn about aliens, the stories are always like, oh yeah, we know, but we're not going to tell you that. It's always the same thing. Like whatever that alien she just said is like, I'll share with you what I'm allowed to.
Yes.
Like, just fucking tell us, bro.
Yeah.
And you'll stop all the shit. You'll stop it. It'll just be like, no, this is what it is. Boom, here we are. Figure it out.
I think she tells us almost everything. There's just a bit that's a bit like...
It's like dating a chick.
Maybe it's
like,
because she's a woman.
You have to figure it out. I'm not going to say, you have to figure out why we're here.
So, firstly, I'm going to go into why the Roswell crash happened.
Actually, you know what? You said it's a she alien.
Yes.
That's exactly what she's doing.
That's exactly
I'm
right.
not going to tell you.
You figure it out.
If it was a guy, he'd be like, all right, this is how it works. We are born here, we reincarnate, and then we come back.
All right. So this is how Errol told her that the Roswell crash occurred. So Errol told me her reasons for coming to Earth and for being in the area of the 509th Bomber Squadron. She was sent by her superior officers to investigate explosions of nuclear weapons which had been tested in New Mexico. Her superiors ordered her to gather information from the atmosphere that could be used to determine the extent of radiation and potential harm this might cause the environment. During her mission, the spacecraft was struck by lightning, which caused her to lose control and crash. The spacecraft is operated by ISBs who use doll bodies in which, in much the same way that an actor wears a mask or a costume, it's like a mechanical tool through which to operate in the physical world.
It's like a drone.
Yes, to house the non-physical or the soul, the spirit, the immortal. She, as well as other Isbees of the officer class and their superiors, inhabit these doll bodies when they are on duty in space. When they are not on duty, they leave in the body and operate, think, communicate, travel, and exist without the use of a body. So they almost use that like a radio way, the way we see ourselves as antennas. They use the housing like a physical meat vehicle.
Now, I wonder if that is just overlapping with the concept that because I remember there being conjecture that the aliens were just little dolls or like fake things.
Yeah, like AI or artificial bodies.
Yeah, and it looks like it wasn't real. Maybe because it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like when you go into a submarine, you're piloting the submarine.
Well, I'll tell you,
physically doing that. So these beings, whatever they are, they live external to a body, so they're just in some form of other dimension or light wave.
Yeah.
And then they've but how did that okay, this is fucked, because how did they build their bodies if they don't have a body to build? They've just
Here we go. The bodies are constructed of synthetic materials, including a very sensitive electrical nervous system to which the Isbee adjust themselves or tune in to an electronic wavelength that is matched uniquely to the wavelength or frequency emitted by each Isbee. Each Isbee is capable of creating a unique wave frequency which identifies much like a radio signal frequency. There we go.
But how did they build the physical body
Okay.
if they don't have hands or they don't have... they would have to take control of a human being to build it for them or some other being, because you can't just create out of nothing.
Correct.
Unless you're God.
Which they do go into later on.
Right. Okay.
Yes, they do go into that specific.
And also...
But that would be good to know now in this context. So, yes, that probably would have been a question she could have asked. How do you build them in the first place?
Yeah.
But
it's just like me going, fucking, I'm going to go down there. I'm going to drive a tank to school. It's like, you don't have a tank.
But you know how your body has a frequency, a unique frequency. They
very unique.
Apparently, and they apparently tap into those.
But the other interesting point that they said there was they've detected nuclear bombing. Like how did they detect that? Do they have like scouts?
They're monitoring the planet Earth. They've claimed, and I don't know. Again, I've forgotten what I've screenshotted, but they've claimed the Earth is part of the domain.
Bro, this links directly to that book I told you about, Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's almost built off that concept.
Oh, really?
Earth gets claimed,
yes,
as property from a higher domain.
Oh my God,
of race, and they're using Earth. They want to just strip all the minerals from Earth. So yeah, that's so weird. But this is fiction.
This is
Dungeon Crawler Carl's fiction.
Now they're not claiming us malevolently. Benevolent. Which one's
malevolently?
Malevolently is the bad, and benevolent. So they're not claiming us malevolently, but they're trying to free us from...
Freed from desire, man and aliens purified.
They control these vehicles, these meat vehicles. Errol explained that Isbees have been around since before the beginning of the universe.
Oh, jeez.
The reason they are called immortal is because a spirit is not born, it cannot die, but exists in a personally postulated perception of what of is will be. She was careful to explain that every spirit is not the same. Each is completely unique in identity, power, awareness, and ability. The difference between an Isbee like Errol and most Isbees inhabiting the bodies on Earth is that Errol can enter and depart her doll at will. She can perceive a selective depth through matter. Errol and other officers of the domain can communicate telepathically, since the Isbee is not a physical universe entity. It has no location in space or time. An Isbee is literally immaterial. They can span great distances of space instantly. You can experience sensations existing. Yeah. So that's
I
enough
wonder
for
if
that.
the Isbies could pick up on us talking about them and just tune in. Like,
Potentially.
it would be cool if they just tune in and then send us a message.
Okay. I didn't read this one, but this is interesting, this part. She said that...
Also, did you say they can enter and exit a doll at will?
Yes, I did, Delby.
I'll let the listeners make up their own joke for that one.
That one, yep. Silence is the joke there.
That's it.
That's it. The physical universe itself is formed from the convergence and amalgamation of many other individual universes, each one of which were created by an Isby group of Isbies. The collision of these illusory universes coming led. What's coming led?
How do you spell it?
COMM-ing led. Coming led.
Lead. Don't know.
And coalesced. Anyway, coalesced were solidified.
What's the second word you said? Coming lead coalesced?
Coalesced.
Let's get that. Coming lead. Commingled?
Yeah.
Like, commingled?
I think it's commingled.
That's where you blend together. When
Yeah,
you're mingling, commingling.
There we go.
What do you call it? Coming lead.
Yeah, COMM.
Yeah.
INGLED.
Yeah, commingled, bro.
Commingled. The illusory
What was
universe.
the second word?
Commingled and coalesced.
Spell that one.
COALESCED.
Oh, coalescent. Yeah. So it's when they come together to form a big mass or a whole.
Yeah, so they come together.
Yeah.
So all of these universes came together and form a
Coming
mutually
lead.
create.
Coming lead is so funny, bro.
Coming lead. It's lead of cum.
Yeah, he's entered and exited his doll. Now he's coming lead. Sorry, yeah. So they got commingled and coalescent together.
Yep, and because it is agreed that energy and forms can be created but not destroyed, this creative process has continued to form the ever-expanding universe of nearly infinite physical proportions.
That sounds like they're just trying to see, this is where I believe things like this could be fiction, because that's a human idea. That's a us idea that energy can't be created or destroyed. That's us because we're living in our third dimension. In their dimension, I bet they could create energy out of nothing. They could destroy it if they wanted to.
How can you destroy energy?
Because they're on a higher wavelength, things that we can't even conceive. Things
But
we
doesn't
can't
that
even
conceive to a
comprehend.
different frequency?
No, but it just means we can't comprehend. All we can do with our science is go, oh, this energy's just changed form.
Yeah, but why
in this
wouldn't?
domain?
Why haven't we just found that out? If that's just a universal principle.
But I'm saying like it might not be a universal principle.
Yeah, it might not be, but
It's like we're just saying that
maybe.
because if they are these light frequency beings, they have so much power to inhibit a body and exit at will. I'm sure they have power we can't even like imagine. Like they could create out of nothing and they could destroy out of nothing.
Destroy.
Like just stop something. So instead of changing form, if I was to burn this plastic, it changes from a chemical into all the other,
Yeah,
like,
potentially.
it breaks down. They could just have it go into nothingness.
Could do.
If they're creating whole universes together, I'm sure that they could make it disappear.
Potentially. Maybe that's what it is.
The original David Copperfields.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you can make anything not exist. Just change form. Where would it go?
Well, we can't comprehend that.
Yeah,
I'm
we can't.
saying. There could be a level above us, just like the cavemen couldn't comprehend that we're talking to each other through a fucking thing that we're holding in our hand on the other side of the world.
I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
I
There's got to
agree.
be all different rules to physics that we haven't
Yeah.
we wouldn't even know.
Yeah. Before the formation of the physical universe. Yeah.
Someone
that's
should
just
do a
about-
TED Talks on this fucking little alien chick.
Yeah.
You know, it could be a troll, AIRL. That's their name, Earl. Artificial intelligence in real life. IRL means in real life.
This is the thing. We are in the physical universe there in reference to that. The energy cannot be destroyed.
Okay.
So not in the
I thought they were talking about
illusory.
when they were building their universes.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
where does
Does that feed into the whole trap loop that we're here trapped because energy can't be created or destroyed?
Well,
Can't
we're
go
gonna go into that. HSB. Okay. This is interesting. All right. So each
Interesting.
ISB entered into the physical universe when they lost their own home universe. That is, an Isby's home universe, it was overwhelmed by physical universe, or when the Isby joined with other Isbys to create and conquer physical universe. So on the Earth, the ability to determine when an Isby entered the physical universe is difficult for two reasons. One, the memory of Isbys on Earth has been erased. Two, Isby's arrival or invasion into the physical universe took place at different times, some 60 trillion years ago and others only 3 trillion years. Every once in a short while, a few million years, an area of the planet will be taken over by another group of Isbys entering that area. So basically, and we'll get to this a bit more, that the planet Earth is just an amalgamation of different species or different groups of Isbys.
Are they all the same Isby, or are they all different races of Isbys?
All different like groups.
Wow. So
and
you could have like
collectives.
a white supremacist Isbys, and then
you
you
could
could
have-
like the Black Panthers Isby showing up at a different time.
Yes, and you could have all different variations.
Schizophrenies.
Yes, and again, I can't remember if I included that part, but they have all types,
And the fact-
especially the ones on Earth.
So if I'm right in understanding this, they mentioned that some have come, it's hard to find when they came because time's not linear. If they were all just showing up on Earth,
Yes.
it could have been
Within
60 million.
Within the physical, yeah.
It could have been right now. It could have been 200 years ago, because whenever they show up, it's not. It's for them. It's instant, and they've discovered it at that instant. But others have discovered it at an instant to us, which is a million or trillion years ago.
Yes.
I wonder if there was an Isbiosaurus. Like, would they have come in and inhabited dinosaurs? You know, would they?
Yeah.
Because if that was what was here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did they talk about the Sumerians and the gold and all that?
Yes, yeah, they talk about it a lot. They
Sick.
talk about. I go through. I highlight some points.
Cool. Continue.
In history, but I don't go through it all. It's a fucking in-depth. Whoa, it's an in-depth book. It's fucking got it goes like fucking 15,000 BC and.
Wow.
But anyway, I've highlighted some pretty
Sounds
cool
pretty
ones.
sick. Sorry, listeners,
It's a-
if I'm interrupting at the wrong time.
No,
I'm
no,
trying to
it's-
go page by page here.
It's pretty good here. So eventually the domain discovered that a wide area of space is monitored by an electronic force field, which controls all of the Isbys in this end of the galaxy, including Earth. The electronic force screen is designed to detect Isbys and prevent them from leaving the area.
Who created it?
We'll
So
find.
there's this like fucking intergalactic warfare.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Okay. It's fun.
She's got all this from a little fucking grey cunt.
Yeah.
Wow. I reckon Wolfie listens to our pod, doesn't he?
Yes.
All right, Wolf Dog, I want you to start making notes because I want to hear, because I'm trying to come at this with like just a questionary angle, but
Yeah.
he'll come at it philosophically and
Yeah.
come up with some gold. So Wolfie, we'll get
Please.
you on once we've gone through this whole book, and I want to hear.
Yes.
You are an alien anyway, you can't.
He is an alien.
You're the funniest one on the planet.
If any Isby tries to penetrate the force screen, it captures them.
Four screen.
Yes, the foreskin. The force, or
Hang
the
on,
force
sorry,
field.
sorry. Can you say that sentence again?
Nope.
Did you say one penetrates the four screen?
If any Isby tries to penetrate the force screen,
Oh my gosh, there's so many puns I'm holding back on.
it captures them in kind of an electronic net. And the result is their captured Isby is subject to very severe brainwashing, treatment which erases the memory of the Isby, and the process of tremendous electrical shock therapy, electrical shock therapy. The shock.
That's Guantanamo Isbay.
Therapy is only used 100 volts. Okay, so however, the electrical voltage is used by the old empire.
What the fuck? Now we're going to Star Wars.
Yeah, so these are words.
Yeah.
So the old empire, it's in quotation marks. The old empire operation against Isbys in order of magnitude of billions of volts. This tremendous shock completely wipes all the memories of all the Isbys. The memory erasure is not just for one life on on body, it wipes out all the accumulated experiences of nearly an infinite past. So all your past lives. It makes you forget them.
Who's
all.
doing this? Oh, the Empire.
The old Empire.
But who are they?
So the old Empire.
Are they physical or are they like another mental fucking Jedi?
They're the same.
Wow.
Now these are we're going to dive into this now because they're
in
in
evil,
battle.
There are evil ones and good.
They're benevolent and benevolent.
What the hell?
So the old Empire, and they don't name who the old Empire is, but I'm assuming they're in reference to the reptilians that are non-physical. Right. So they're doing the same thing. They're saying that these malevolent Isbis or infinite or spiritual beings are inhabiting bodies on the planet Earth, as well as they've created a field around the Earth to keep us here as a prison planet.
Now, are they doing that on purpose? Do they know they're malevolent, or are they just like not as evolved as the?
We should dive into the reptilians and why they seek our energy. But I didn't. Maybe they do touch on it in this, but
because let's say if you are an Isby and you just pop into existence, do Isbys breed? How do they have other Isbys?
Don't know.
Do they just fracture? And
they just are. Source? They just are.
Yeah, but that suggests that there's already flaws in this because if you are an Isby that's just is, that means that everything's an Isby.
Yes,
and it has always been that way. So you would all be
Isbys.
Malevolent. If you're one malevolent Isby, you have to be a collective of malevolent. If you're a benevolent Isby, but if there's only one, if they've always been,
there's not.
It can only be one.
Well, how they've said there's not one.
Then where are the others that have always just been? Do they just pop into existence out of nowhere? Like, are there a million different gods?
Yes. Well, we talk about
it's so hard to comprehend.
You're talking way ahead of where we're at.
All right.
Because this all gets explained and talked about.
Because it's so hard to comprehend that there's these evil forces that have always been.
Yes.
There's good forces that have always been.
Yeah, because in duality.
Yeah. There has to be a God. If any of this is real, there has to be one God that's just created this to test and get out of forgetting he's a God and he's alone in the universe.
Potentially. But again, that's our thoughts on what it would be from a physical understanding.
It hurts my brain.
It does hurt my brain too.
It gives me so much fear having experienced that.
But this is why instead of me imparting my thoughts on it, I'm just going to read it and then listeners can go, that's cool. It's a cool thing. Anyway, so after the shock, so they captured one of these old Empire Isby drones. After the shock series of hypnotic suggestions used to install false memories and false time orientation in each Isby, this includes the same kind of shock therapy.
Errol's kind captured a malevolent one.
Yes.
Okay. Continue.
Now, what the domain learned from the experience of this officer, that is the old Empire, has been using Earth as a prison planet for a long time. Exactly how long is unknown, perhaps millions of years. So when the body of an Isby dies, they depart from the body. They are detected by the force field. They're then captured and ordered by hypnotic command to return to the light. The idea of heaven and the afterlife are part of the hypnotic suggestion, a part of the treachery that makes the whole mechanism work.
So the bad guys are hypnotizing the good guys into thinking there's a heaven.
Yes.
And trapping them here.
Yeah.
Why do they?
Because they're in a state of amnesia already.
Right. And they want them to be trapped here to source energy from them, or they just don't want them to escape this area and encroach on, if this is like a territory war or something.
I can't remember if I've got...
you've got the hypnotic.
I can't remember if I go into their... Well, I don't even know if they talk about their benevolent reasoning. Benevolent reason. Malevolent, evil reasoning.
So she's just explaining what she can.
What she can from their point of view.
Sorry to listen. I know I don't mean to pick it apart, but it's just my brain.
It's good. It's good.
I need to figure out why or how or what.
So after the Isby is shocked and hypnotized to erase their memory of life, the Isby is immediately commanded to hypnotically report back to the Earth. What else? So they've been sentenced.
Sound like real cunts, eh?
Yeah. Okay, so the old Empire seems to judge these people as criminals. So any undesirable Isbys who are sentenced to Earth were classified as untouchable by the old Empire. These included anyone that the old Empire judged to be criminals who are too vicious to be reformed or subdued, or as well as other criminals such as sexual perverts or being unwilling to do any productive work. So the old empire is still trapping what would be called undesirable souls.
But is that trying to say that every Isby here is an undesirable, and they're trapping them?
I think that's what it's saying. That we're all a little fucked up.
Little perverts.
Fucking hell.
I wonder if they have a grander plan, like they make us, they're trapped here until we evolve into a better being.
I think, I think I touched on that. So,
you would touch on it, you pervert.
An untouchable classification of Isbys also includes a wide variety of political prisoners.
That explains the mustache.
This includes the Isbys, who are considered to be non-compliant, free thinkers and revolutionaries who make trouble for the governments of various planets of the old empire. Of course, anyone with a previous military record against the old empire is shipped off to Earth.
Wow. It's almost a reflection of what's happening now, shutting down free thinkers against the government.
So also the intellectuals, inventors, geniuses of almost every field, since everything the old empire considers valuable has long since been invented or created over the last few trillion years, they have no further use for such beings.
This would be a great movie.
Yeah. We should just write this into a movie regardless.
Allegedly, if we do create a movie in the future, this is all original thought.
We'll have to get in contact with the writer. Anyone who is not willing to or able to submit to mindless economic, political, and religious servitude as tax-paying worker in the class system of the old empire was also untouchable. So untouchable means go back into the system, and sentenced to receive memory wipe and permanent imprisonment on Earth.
So they have religion as a celestial fucking Isby.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you'll see. Shortly, I talk about how they've talked about religion and how they've set that up. The domain officer who was assassinated while in the body of the Archduke of Austria was likewise captured.
Are they talking about humans now?
So Isbys.
Oh, I thought it was capturing the souls.
The souls, and puts them into humans.
Okay.
So these souls.
The World War I, this Archduke of Austria.
Yep.
Franz Ferdinand.
Franz Ferdinand was likewise captured by the old empire force because this particular officer was high-powered Isby. Compared to most, he was taken away to a secret old empire base under the surface of the planet of Mars. They put him into a special electronic prison cell and they held him there.
Hang on, I'm so confused on that bit, bro.
So basically, how we're talking about these free thinkers, these revolutionaries, they've been put into the human bodies as vehicles.
How did the Duke of Franz Ferdinand go to Mars?
His soul. His Isby.
After he's dead?
Yes.
They've locked him in Mars?
Yes, his Isby, because he's a powerful Isby.
Okay, I feel like we've skipped a few stages here, but
this is just an example of.
Okay. Yeah.
So, because we've talked about how they the Isbys are being trapped in the prison planet and they're put into souls. Some of these free thinkers, some of these revolutionaries are put back into the system. But if they've become too powerful, the Archduke of Austria, for example, they've imprisoned them there.
And are these free thinkers a risk to the bad people because they're good free thinkers?
Yeah, they're a risk to the system and order that they have.
Okay.
This in part explains a very unusual mix of races, languages, moral codes, religious and political influences among the Isby population on Earth, the number of variety of heterogeneous societies.
That means all the same.
Yep. So the number of and variety of heterogeneous societies on Earth are extremely unusual.
Oh, sorry. Heterogeneous is different. Sorry. Homogeneous is all the same.
Yep.
Heterogeneous is where it's all mixed, all different cultures and everything mixed up.
Most Sun-type 12 Class 7 planets are inhabited by only humanoid body type or race, or if any. In addition to most of the ancient civilizations of Earth, and many events of the Earth have been heavily influenced by the hidden hypnotic operation of the old Empire base. So far, no one has figured out exactly where or how this operation is run, whom or by whom, because it is so heavily protected by the screens and traps.
You just answered my question telekinetically. I literally was like, where is this base?
Yeah.
In my head, and you answered it.
Screens. Furthermore, there has been no operation undertaken to seek out, destroy the ancient network of electronic machinery at this end of the galaxy to just help.
Bro, imagine if the space missions are actually to go and fucking bring down the defenses of the old empire, and that's why it's all faked, because they don't want us to really see what we're doing. Maybe the NASA are the good guys that are trying to free us, and they're faking the videos because they don't want the old empire to see what they're actually doing.
Maybe.
There's a new conspiracy for you.
Well, that's a good one. Well, the domain is aware of what's going on with the traps, so they're able to avoid these systems because they still have their memories. The domain officers.
Did the domain want to come and free some of us, or no? They don't care about us.
The domain,
like the people outside of Earth, the Isbies outside of Earth, are they aware that the old empire are trapping us here?
Honestly, I couldn't grasp the concept. I was trying to figure out whether they're malevolent or whether they're just struggling over power over us.
Right. I'm going to have to read this now.
Because are humans even a thing? Do we matter?
Yeah.
Are we just a vehicle to house terrible souls for what they've considered that?
So we'd be mixed in with like good Isbies and...
Yes. And which is why it's so turbulent.
He got trapped?
Yes. In the same system. And which is
on
why...
accident?
Yes, which is why that a lot of the alien... This explains later on why the aliens don't want to come down, because they don't want to get trapped in a system accidentally.
What's this called? Interview with an alien?
Alien interview.
Alien interview.
Okay, so this is kind of cool. This is where we're starting to get a little bit into spiritual.
By Lawrence R. Spencer?
That's the one, yep.
Reader's edition is better, or...
Don't know.
One's 5 hours 22 and one's 14 hours
Audiobook.
7. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Because there's footnotes, and I haven't read the footnotes. A priesthood or prison guards were used to help reinforce the idea that an individual is only a biological body and is not an immortal spiritual being. The individual has no identity. The individuals have no past lives. The individual has no power. Only gods have power. And the gods are a contrivance of priests who intercede between men and the gods they serve. Men are slaves to the dictates of the priests, who threaten external spiritual punishment if men do not obey them. What else would you expect on a prison planet where all the prisoners have amnesia? The priests themselves are prisoners. The intervention of the domain force on Earth has not been entirely successful due to the secret mind control operation of the old empire that still continues to operate. The battle was waged between the old empire forces and the domain through religious conquest about 1500 BC to 1200 BC. The domain forces attempted to teach the concept of an individual immortal spiritual being to several influential beings on Earth.
So that'd be Jesus, Dalai Lama, Muhammad.
One such instance resulted in the very tragic misunderstanding, misinterpretation, and misapplication of the concept. The idea was perverted and applied to mean that there is only one Isby, instead of the truth that there is an Isby. That everyone is an Isby. Obviously, this is a gross incomprehension and an utter unwillingness to take responsibility for one's own power. The old empire priests managed to corrupt the concept of individual immortality into the idea that there is only one all-powerful Isby, and that no one else is or is allowed to be an Isby. Obviously, this is the work of the old empire amnesia operation. It is easy to teach this altered notion to beings who do not want to be responsible for their own lives. Slaves are such beings. As long as one chooses to assign responsibility for creation, existence, personal accountability for one's thoughts and actions to others, it's a slave. As a result, the concept of single monotheistic God resulted and was promoted by many self-proclaimed prophets, such as Jewish slave leader Moses, who grew up in the household of the Pharaoh Amenhotep.
How do you spell it?
Amenhotep. I think Amenhotep, and his son Akhenaten, and his wife Nefertiti, as well as his son Tutankhamun. So the attempt to teach certain beings on Earth the truth.
Was Moses' son Tutankhamun? No, he grew up in the Pharaoh time. Okay,
in the Pharaoh time of that, yeah.
Sorry.
The attempt to teach certain beings on Earth the truth that they are themselves Isbi was part of the plan to overthrow the fictional, metaphorical, anthropomorphic panoply of gods created by the old empire mystery cult called the Brothers of the Serpent, known in Egypt as the priests of Amun. They were very ancient, secret society within the old empire. Pharaoh Akhenaten was not a very intelligent being. He was heavily influenced by his own personal ambition and for self-glorification. He altered the concept of the individual spiritual being and embodied the concept in the sun god Aten. His pitiful existence was soon ended and assassinated by Maya and two of his priests, Amun or Amen, which the Christians still say. Amen.
Because he killed a bad guy that said that God
who
was
represented
not
the
within
interests of the old empire forces.
Imagine if that's true.
Yeah, the idea of the one God was perpetrated by the Hebrew leader Moses while he was in Egypt. He left Egypt with his adopted people, the Jewish slaves. While they were crossing the desert, Moses was intercepted by an operative of the old empire near Mount Sinai. Moses was tricked into believing that this operative was the one God through the use of hypnotic commands.
Is that where Moses went to get the
Burning
commandments?
Bush? Yeah.
At the top of the mountain? Was that Moses that got the commandments at the top of Mount Sinai?
Oh, yeah.
The 10 Commandments where he went up to speak to God?
Yeah.
Was that was Moses?
That must be
wasn't it?
what he's in reference to. Yeah.
But
Double check that.
It was a secret agent that was, hey, this is God. These are your 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
Live like this. Well, I mean, that logically speaking, if everything else is relatively true, that would be what you would do as a secret operative.
Yeah.
You would instill 10 Commandments that would make sure nobody would live outside of, or you put the 10 Commandments so people would believe that God is not within them and it's something unattainable and something that is outside of them.
Yes, and you have no power.
Yeah. And Moses comes down. I think Moses did do the 10 Commandments.
Just double check that because it was the burning bush as well. And
Moses received it on Mount Sinai.
Yeah, there you go. Fuck. Okay, bang. So Moses was tricked into believing that this operative was the one God, and the use of hypnotic commands through the use of hypnotic commands, as well as technical and aesthetic tricks.
Aesthetic. Yeah, so like things you can see. Yeah,
magical.
Visual.
Yep. Sleight of hand, I guess, or whatever. And aesthetic tricks, which are commonly used by the old empire to trap Isbis. Thereafter, the Jewish slaves who trusted the word of Moses implicitly have worshipped a single God they call Yahweh.
Wow. That's quite interesting.
The name Yahweh,
You know what?
Go.
You know what the old empire's done is what my auntie Kim did to that old lady that was speaking to Mother Mary. And my auntie Kim went around the grates and was like, "Is that you, my child?" She's like, "Mother Mary, Mother Mary." She's like, yes.
She's fooled him. Yeah. I mean, again, take everything with a grain of salt. Could be a work of fiction, but
it's a pretty good work of fiction.
It's fucking cool.
For the 1960s or whatever. 1990s, sorry.
1990s, yeah. Good.
I mean, E.T. was written in 88.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, that was a kid found an alien. E.T. go home.
Yeah, but
this is pretty fucking. But yeah, true.
Orwell was written. 1987 was written in the 60s.
Yeah.
So, sorry, was it earlier than that? I think.
Well, look. This is a good trilogy.
It's an awesome fucking.
Imagine doing the old empire. Maybe that's what the Star Wars is. The name Yahweh means anonymous. as the Isby who worked with Moses could not use an actual name, the Isby that worked with Moses, which is the fool or whatever, could not use an actual name or anything that would identify himself or blow the cover of the amnesia prison operation.
You know what that's like? It's exactly like when Homer's on the phone and goes, "What's your first name, Mr. Burns?" "I don't know.
I don't know.
"And what's your first name, Isby?" "I don't know."
The last thing the covert amnesia hypnosis prison system wants to do is to reveal themselves openly to the Isbys on Earth. They feel that this would restore the inmates' memories.
I would love to know if any of this has been like anyone's had a similar experience where it's sort of, you know, you can match things up and go, oh, well, this happened in America. Here's some transcripts that happened at an incident in Brazil. They speak a different language. It's all been,
well,
you know, like psychic mediums have the same experience no matter where they are.
Well, I definitely don't touch on this. I didn't screenshot this, but they said that the body was designed to last 150 years, and
That's
we lived to
biblical as
about
well,
I think it was Ye or whoever designed the body to last 120 to 150 years, but we're only living about half of that. That has been biologically altered specifically so to make sure we don't remember, is what they say in this. Because the longer we exist, the more likely we are to remember our past lives. Which is why this hypnosis stuff and people remembering their past lives is kind of cool. It's like taking you out of that space, out of that. It's like breaking free of the prison.
And you've been hypnotized to forget. So maybe the hypnosis brings the remembrance.
And so it says this is the reason all traces of physical encounters between operatives and space civilizations and humans are very carefully hidden, disguised, covered up, or denied and misdirected. This old Empire operative contacted Moses in a desert mountaintop and delivered the 10 hypnotic commands. Oh, I didn't know that. So well done, Delby. Delivered the 10 hypnotic commands to him. These commands are very forcefully worded and compel an Isby into utter subservience to the will of the operator. These hypnotic commands are still in effect and influence the thought patterns of millions of Isbys thousands of years later. Incidentally, we later discovered that the so-called Yahweh also wrote programmed and encoded text of the Torah, which when it read literally or in its decoded form will provide a great deal of more false information to those who read it.
So here are the 10 commandments. And you know what's interesting? Number 1 says, "I am the Lord your God. You shall not have strange gods before me." So if you're an operative, I am your God. You shall not make for yourself a graven image. So don't make any other idols. You shall not take the name of your Lord in vain. Remember to keep a day for me. Honor your father and mum. That's just a good one. Don't kill. Is that because we were all bad and they just don't want us to keep being bad, even though they're trying to trap us here?
If you keep dying, you get an opportunity to escape the prison.
So the last 5 don't fit in with the theory.
Nah.
You shall not kill, you shall not commit adultery, don't steal, don't bear false witness against your neighbor, and don't fuck your neighbor's wife.
Yeah.
I mean,
so basically be a good person. So isn't that the thing? You always litter a really good idea and just chuck in a little bit of misinformation. That's what they do now.
Yeah.
They'll give you 90% truth, one bad lie, and then you're like, see, you're wrong.
Yeah, that's it.
So ultimately the Vedic hymns became the source of nearly all Eastern religions, and they were the philosophical source of the ideas common to Buddha, Lao Tzu, Zoroaster, and philosophers. The civilizing influences of these philosophies eventually replaced the brutal idolatry of the old empire religions and were true genesis of kindness and compassion. So they're saying that the better ones are Buddha, those sorts of people, the Eastern religions.
Right.
They're more in line with reality.
Okay.
Well, yeah, the real. Interesting. I'm going to upset a lot of Christians there. Again,
well,
grain of salt.
Maybe not, because Branchy, Cam McLaren's got an interesting theory. You know how Jesus just disappeared for 30 years? Like,
yeah, he went and
learned from the Buddhists, because they've got stories of a Middle Eastern man.
Yes, I talked to Cam about that, and I agree with that one. I like that one. You asked me earlier why I don't know if you did, but this is what was said. You asked me earlier why the domain and other space civilizations do not land on Earth or make their presence known. Land on Earth? Do you think we are crazy or want to be crazy? It takes a very brave ISBE to come down through the atmosphere and land on the Earth because this is a prison planet with a very uncontrolled psychotic population, and no ISBE is entirely proof against the risk of entrapment, as the numbers of the domain expeditionary force who were captured in the Himalayas 8,200 years ago found out. No one knows what ISBEs on Earth are going to do. We are not scheduled to invest the resources of the domain to take control of all the space surrounding the area at this time. This will occur in the not too distant future.
2027.
About 5,000 Earth in about 5,000 Earth years, according to the time schedule of the domain.
At least we'll still be here.
At this time, we do not prevent transports from other planetary systems or galaxies to continue to drop in as ISBEs into the state of amnesia. Eventually, this will change.
Do we have any historical incidents 8200 BC in the Himalayas that match up with that story?
Are
there any historical incidences of anything happening in the Himalayas?
That would be
8200 BC.
No, I don't know, but that would be kind of cool to.
I wonder if someone could launch a mission to try find something or scan the mountains, because maybe the mountains are covering up a secret.
The snow. In addition, the Earth is inherently highly unstable planet. It's not suitable for settlement. It changes a lot. It basically listed out a few things. It says the continental land masses of Earth are floating on a sea of molten lava beneath the surface, which the land masses can crumble and drift continuously. So why would we stay? Liquid nature of the core, the magnetic poles shift about every 20,000 years, which can cause devastating results. And the Earth is very distant from the center of the galaxy, so we've got no reason. We're just a shit place. We are a prison planet. We're off in the distance, kept away from everywhere.
This is either an awesome work of fiction, because you could probably, if you sat down long enough, think of this. If you can write Inception, if you can write Star Wars, you can write this.
Definitely. This could be a very well written. It could be.
Yeah.
There's another reason they said.
You try and match up at that time what they knew. And if there's stuff that is just real, almost impossible
commonplace
to know.
Yeah.
Like if there's commonplace, then but if there's things in this where it's almost impossible to know. If this letter, when was it dated? The early 90s, you said?
Yes, yeah.
See, there's still a lot of communication. But
yeah, definitely. It could be a work of fiction. Regardless, use your own discernment.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like this. This is interesting because this is, we'll talk. If the domain sent ships to every corner of the universe in the search of hell, their quest could end on Earth.
Oh my gosh.
What greater brutality can be inflicted on anyone than to erase spiritual awareness, identity, ability, and the memory that the essence of oneself? The domain has yet been able to rescue the 3,000 ISBEs.
The screen is glitching, bro. ISBEs are coming through.
It does glitch a little
bit.
Do you
do Morse code? Because it could be a message.
They've been unable to rescue the 3,000 ISBEs that they lost here. And
so does that mean there's 3,000 ISBEs that are being reincarnated?
They're here, and they're forced to inhabit biological bodies on Earth. We have been able to recognize and track most of them for the last 8,000 years. However, our attempts to communicate with them are usually futile, as they are unable to remember their true identity.
Maybe that's what that bold bloke is. The guy that does the alien.
Bashar, he's different, I think. But the majority of the lost members of the domain force have followed the general progression of Western civilization from India all the way around the world. Members of the Lost Battalion and many other ISBEs on Earth could be valuable citizens of the domain, not including those vicious criminals or perverts. Still got more.
How can you be a pervert if you don't have a body?
Yeah, I look, I don't know how this...
Oh, look at that frequency.
Yeah.
Oh, she's showing a light wave. Yeah, give me some of that gamma.
Yeah, okay. Therefore, as a matter of common logic, as well as official policy of the domain, it is safer and more sensible to avoid contact with the ISB population of Earth until such time as the proper resources can be allocated to locate and destroy the old Empire force screen and the amnesia machinery, and develop a therapy to restore the memory of all the ISBs on Earth. So that floats into what you suggested. Are they searching for the thing in the when they go to
they would do that if it's like Americans. If you know that there's a soldier in enemy lines, you don't just go, oh well.
Of which they use that heart murmur thing.
That's scary as, bro.
What the fuck?
If that's true,
it is true.
It's 100%.
I had a look. Yeah.
Wow, that means you can't hide anywhere on Earth. You'd have to alter your heartbeat.
Well,
so people that don't know what we're talking about,
yeah,
they got the soldier's unique heartbeat, like a fingerprint, and they sent the drone over the top and scanned the fucking Iranian mountains for his heartbeat signature, found where it was, sent in special forces and extracted him before they got there.
Through his heartbeat.
I feel like that is just fake news to make America look like
ghost murmur.
I can't believe that's real. I think that's fake media to make you think that the American army is just unbelievably good. Because that would be fear the other way. Go, wow, if they know my
potentially
heartbeat, they can find me no matter where I am.
Yeah.
Because that's just too much. That shouldn't be legal.
I mean, you could be right. And we'll go into I think there's about 4 or 5 more things to read. So we got the timelines. So 11,600 BCE, the polar axis of the Earth shifted to the sea. To a sea area. The last ice age came to an end abruptly as the polar ice caps melted and the level of the ocean rose, submerged large sections of the land masses of Earth. The last remaining vestiges of Atlantis and Lemuria were covered by water. Massive extinctions of animals occurred in the Americas, Australia, and Arctic regions due to the shift of the poles.
So is that Noah's Ark?
Yep. Well, it could be, yeah. Yeah, but the poles shifted, and that aligns with the end of the Ice Age.
But back to the them not trying to find the Empire's fucking base or forces. Mm-hmm. Like, if you were a benevolent being, you wouldn't leave 3,000 beings here. No, you've described it as hell.
Yeah.
Why would you leave 3,000 if you are and is and are the same?
Mm-hmm.
You should be actively seeking out.
They are in 5,000 years. That's what they said.
Yeah.
And again,
just hold tight.
Yeah.
For fight, we'll be there soon.
But because
a couple of days.
Ariel's a couple of million years old, so 5,000
years.
Yeah. And again, I think they're outside of linear time. Remember, they're in that thing. But also, the ones who have not been trapped in the program, they're the ones who can go in and out of their bodies. These ones have forgotten. Yeah. 10,450 BCE, plans were made by the old empire Isbi called Thoth for construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. The 4 air shafts of the pyramid point precisely to key stars in the old empire, as seen from Giza in this year. The alignment of the pyramids of Giza on the ground matches perfectly the alignment of the constellation of Orion and is seen in the sky from Giza relative to the Nile as earthly representation of the Milky Way in the sky.
Are they saying that that's pointing out where the old empire is? Is that what they said? They said that the 4 shafts line up with the old empire?
Yeah.
Is that built by the old empire?
Yes.
That's one of the tools to keep us here?
Plans were made by the old empire. Yep.
And
I think it's just a... It doesn't say what for.
Right.
It just says it was plans made. I've skipped through.
Could be an energy thing to fucking...
Could be.
Keep the force field going.
Oh. Interesting.
They've shown that it's a battery, right?
Yeah. There's been theories about that.
Have you shared this with Tyler?
No.
See if anything interlinks. That's
a good idea. Zoroaster created religious practices in Persia around Isbi called Aru Mazda. This is yet another growing number of monotheistic gods put in place and operatives of the domain to displace the panoply of the old empire gods. Here we go. 604 BCE. Lao Tzu, a philosopher who wrote a small book called The Way, was an Isby of great wisdom who overcame the effects of the old empire, amnesia, hypnosis machinery and escaped from Earth. His understanding of the Earth as an Isby must have been very good to accomplish this. According to the common legend, his last lifetime as a human was lived in a small village in China. He contemplated the essence of his own life. Like Gautama Siddhartha, he confronted his own thoughts and past lives, and in doing so, he recovered some of his own memory, ability, and immortality. As an old man, he decided to leave the village and go to the forest to depart the body. The village gatekeeper stopped him and begged him to write down his personal philosophy before leaving. Here is a small piece of advice he gave about the way. He rediscovered his own spirit. He who looks will not see it. He who listens will not hear it. He who gropes will not grasp it. The formless nonentity. Yes. The formless nonentity and motionless source of motion, the infinite essence of the spirit is the source of life. Spirit is self. Walls from the support of a room, yet the wall space between them is most important. A pot is formed of clay, yet the space formed therein is the most useful. Action is caused by the force of nothing on something.
I would have just been like, hey, mate, let's just simplify that a bit, eh? What do you mean, champ?
Basically, stop trying. Let go. He who looks will not see it.
I thought I got from that the body is the prison of what's within. You look within this, the spirit and the soul is within.
Yeah, the silence that, when he says a pot is formed of clay, yet the space formed within is the most useful.
Mm.
So the silence within the emptiness. Mm. Sit in that silence. Be still.
Well, a nonentity is just an Italian entity.
This is kind of cool. This is AD, 1119 AD. The Knights Templar was established as a Christian military unit after the First Crusade, but quickly transformed into the basis for the international banking system to accumulate money to conduct the agenda of the operatives for vestiges of the old empire on Earth.
That goes against what your research said.
Yeah, interesting.
Fake news from the other guys.
Yeah, the Domain Expeditionary Force completed the annihilation of the remaining remnants of the old empire. This is in 1135. Space Fleet operating the solar system around the Earth. Unfortunately, their long-established thought control operation remains largely intact. So the Domain has annihilated the rest of the old empire here, but the mind control system is still in play. 1307, the Knights Templar was disbanded by King Philip IV of France, who was deeply in debt to the order. He pressured Pope Clement V to condemn the order's members, have them arrested, tortured, and to giving false confessions, burned them at the stake in an effort to erase his debt by seizing all of their wealth. A majority of the Templars fled to Switzerland, where they established the international banking system, which secretly controls the economy of Earth. Old empire operatives act as an unseen influence on the international bankers. The banks are operated covertly as non-combatant provocateur to covertly promote and finance weapons and warfare between nations on Earth. Warfare is an internal mechanism of control over the inmate population, humans. The purpose of the senseless genocide and carnage of wars financed by the international banks is to prevent the Isbys of Earth from sharing open communication, cooperate together, and activities that might enable Isbys to prosper, become enlightened, and escape their imprisonment. That kind of makes sense. The distractions and the...
Yeah. All I was focused on there.
Yeah.
Was the first bit, like etymology, where the words come from, where I said the Knights Templar were burnt at the stakes.
Yes.
Is that where the saying higher stakes come from? Because if you're risking your life, there's a higher stake made for you that you're going to get burnt on.
Oh, that's interesting. I'd like to know what it comes from.
but also that the rest of that, if it's all, everything's old empire, negative, evil, and there's 3,000 Isbies. Are there any good ones that like we've heard of, like Jesus or like anyone modern where they're like, oh, there is?
Well, doesn't that line in with what we're doing now, where we're all just remembering the system's breaking?
Yeah.
Maybe the good malevolent beings. Doesn't have to be these two. These are just two species.
Yeah.
What if there's another species that gone, right, we're going to fuck up this system. We're going to break down these programs. Maybe that's why we are starting to remember. Maybe people are starting to remember their past lives. Maybe through these ideas of hypnosis and remembering our past lives, it's just become infectious. Unsure. Last few here. Okay, here we go. The isolation of the Earth from the rest of the civilization, prevents me from discussing many subjects with you at this time. Security protocol prevent me from revealing any but the broadest general statements about the plans and the activities of the domain. However, I can give you some information that you might find useful. I must return to my assigned duties in my space station now. I've provided you with as much help as I feel ethically able to offer, given the requirements and constraints of my duties as an officer, pilot, and engineer of the domain forces. Therefore, I will depart this ISB from Earth within the next 24 hours.
So that little alien pod.
Yeah, that's why they didn't come and rescue. Able to just, it's just
so she can escape Earth
anytime. So this was genuinely to chat, I guess.
So that one wasn't trapped. She could leave planet Earth.
That's what I was saying. So all of these ones that are aware, they're not trapped because they're not in amnesia.
But why aren't they helping the ones that are?
Because they can't find them. Because they can't connect with them.
Wow.
They still have to be able to remember, is what she said.
Wow.
They said they're tracking. They said they're tracking and monitoring them, but any attempts to communicate with them have been futile, and they won't risk coming back down, and because they're not immune to being stuck in that system. What this means is that Era will leave her doll with us, and she'll use her craft as damaged. As her craft is damaged beyond repair, we can examine, dissect, and to study it at our leisure. She does not have any further use for it, nor does she have any personal feelings or attachments to this doll. The last thing she left with was, if humanity is to survive, it must cooperate to find effective solutions to difficult conditions of your existence on Earth. Humanity must rise above its human form and discover that they are Isbies, and who they really are as Isbies, in order to transcend the notion that they are merely biological bodies. Once these realizations have been made, it may be possible to escape your current imprisonment. Otherwise, there will be no future for Isbies on Earth. Which is kind of where we're at now. It seems like a lot of people are trying to remember. This is the situation and environment we're in at the moment. So she talks about the Pearl Harbor incident and says how that's very obviously something that could have been stopped and was very obviously to the population that, in hindsight, that I don't have it all written down in front of me, but basically uses the Pearl Harbor incident as an example, as something that is designed to create more tension and more wars. It's purposefully orchestrated. All the planes were put underneath. All the guns were, all the bullets were taken out of the guns and stuff like that. So,
but that would then suggest that this old empire are embodying
still, yes,
humans here.
Yes, correct. Yeah, they're still,
which are potentially reptilians.
Maybe that's and again, she doesn't call them reptilians; she just calls them old empire. But that, if we're going off what we consider reptilians in the past, that's what it would be. So she says these types of artificially created incidents are being forced upon the human race by operators of the mind control prison system. The prison guards will always promote and support oppressive or totalitarian activities of the Isbies on Earth. Why not keep the inmates fighting between themselves? Why not empower madmen to run the governments of Earth? The men who run the criminal governments of Earth mirror the commands given them by the covert controllers of the old empire. The human race will continue to shadow box with this for a long time, as long as it remains the human race. Until then, the Isbys on Earth will continue to live a series of consecutive lives over and over and over. The same Isbys who lived during the rise and the fall of civilizations in India, China, Mesopotamia, Greece and Rome are inhabiting bodies in the present time in America, France, Russia, Africa, and around the world. And since then, Ariel's body was basically went limp. Ariel's body went limp, and for weeks they continued to try to communicate with the body. But after that, it was because since Ariel's body was not biological, the doctors could not detect whether the body was alive or dead unless it moved. Of course, she knew that Ariel was not consciously animating the body as an Isby. The body would not move. I explained this to Dr. Wilcox. I explained it to him several times. Each time he just gave me a patronizing smile. By the end of the third week, I was told by Dr. Wilcox that my services were no longer needed because I had been decided by the military to move Ariel to a larger, more secure base. That was the last time I saw her body. The night before, I was scheduled to be board transport plane. I lay in bed, contemplating the whole affair, and then I suddenly heard Ariel's voice, quote unquote, in my head. Voice, I think, more so just the telepathic communication. She said, "Hello." The tone of her thought was plain and friendly, unmistakably her. I thought, "Ariel, are you still here?" She answered, "I was here, but not." Sorry, yeah, she answered that she was here, but not in a body on Earth. She had returned to her post on the domain base where the doctor and the MPs attacked us in the interview room.
So she's communicating telepathically while she's not in the body.
To a post at the domain base. When the doctor and the MPs attacked us in the interview room, so they were attacked in there. She was pleased to perceive that she was well.
So she just hit this chick up in the brain.
Yes.
Right.
As she was leaving, just to say she's all good. She's gone to a new little body. And she said, what was the final? Ariel wished me well, and communication with her ended at that moment. Oh, sorry. I asked Ariel, would I ever see her again? She reassured me that we are both Isbys. We are not physical bodies. Now that she had located me in space and time, we would always stay in communication.
Nice.
That's it.
All right. Good way to finish.
Fuck, that went longer than I thought. But
that's all right.
An interview with an alien.
So get the audiobook. I'll listen to it over the next month or so and
listeners,
touch base for part 2.
Listeners, use your own discernment. It's a bit of fun. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. It aligns with a lot of things, but maybe this was the collective conscious sort of idea that had already been brewing and someone just decided to write that into book form. If not, it fucking is cool, man.
Imagine if the Isbys made magic mushrooms to try and get in touch with us, like naturally, like they've sent the spores through the universe, got through the electric fields.
Yeah,
it's grown. We've eating them, and then we try to reconnect to our.
I think mushrooms and drugs and things are put in those different states. They're just gateways. And when I say gateway, it's just putting us into a different vibrational frequency that breaks free of those shackles.
Nice. All right. Well,
what do you want to plug, Delby?
I got Astor Theatre Thursday. So first time doing it school night. Last year we had 850. The year before was 950. This year we're at 300. So school night. I got the public holiday wrong. I thought Friday was going to be the Anzac public holiday, but it's the Monday.
Oh, yeah.
So good tester.
Yep.
Still going to be awesome. Got Pinder on. Hour of Power.
Cool.
If you want to try win 2 tickets, there is a competition. Just tag someone in it on my Instagram. Teach Comedy Night.
Still 300 people coming to see it. Sick.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah,
I'm not complaining at all.
Good.
It's just an interesting test.
Mate, I'm very proud of what you're doing. Keep on doing those ones. And then your East Coast tour. Sick.
Yeah, are you plugging?
Nah.
Okay.
No.
All right, bye.
Bye.